Well, you guys have really done it. Last week, Charles said if we got to 150 subscribers on our YouTube channel, we would give away an amazing comic book this week. But no, only 135 subscribers. So now you're stuck with me, Skywarp. Anyway, this week, we're giving away a copy of Transformers #6. On the cover of this issue, we see that double-crossing Shockwave shooting our friend Megatron. It's in CGC 9.2, so you know it hasn't been messed around with. Yeah, until next Tuesday, to enter to win, go to the ComicWeek contest page. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's time for this week's new comics.
So, are we ready to go? Because I have a tiny robot, and Charles is nowhere to be seen.
Charles isn't coming back. He's still angry about the subscriber count. So you're going to have to do it with me, Skywarp.
Mm-hmm. All right, Skyhole. Really strange.
Okay. Are we good? All right.
So you feeling better now? You worked that out of your system?
I'll deal.
Okay.
Hey everybody, this is Charles Morgan from ComicWeek, and I'm here with Brianna from Alpha Comics, and we have a plethora of brand new comics that you're going to spend all of your disposable income on this week. Brianna, what are you reading this week?
So what I am curious about, this is one that I'm definitely been interested in. They're 3D versions of reprints that Marvel's doing. They did a Thor one and a couple others, but it comes with the 3D glasses. Josh pointed out that it actually looks like the symbiote is wearing the glasses, which is a little neat, fun, extra thing. So if you're looking for kind of a reprint that's going to have an extra little jazz to it, these could be a lot of fun.
And it's a good timing too with Spawn 300 coming out. You get a McFarlane classic back issue.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
One of the things I think is cool this week, House of X and Powers of X have just gone gangbusters. You guys can't keep them in the stores. I don't think anybody can.
Yeah, it has been a pain to keep them in stock. Hopefully soon we will get over the hump of what we had to pre-order before #1 came out. But I really love this cover. It's super pretty.
Yeah, so this one has Psylocke on it. Before this series launched, you guys had to pre-order the first 3 issues of both House of X and Powers of X, and you really didn't have a great gauge of how popular it would be, and I think it's got more popular than you would have expected.
Yeah, we had a few people subscribe to it, but we didn't have a whole lot, so we're like, okay, we'll just order a little bit more than what we normally do. And then it was like, oh goodness, this is horrible. Oh, I can't adjust my orders because they're already out. Oh God, it's like 3 issues of this. And so we're just sitting here silently screaming inside our souls as it's like, oh yes, no, of course we've already run out, because I didn't know it was going to become the next big thing. Because we expected it to be big, mind you, but it was one of those things that it was just kind of like, oh wow, this is like super big.
I mean, X-Men hadn't been selling like this in the series that preceded this. It was
so we did order roughly about 10 more copies than what we were doing previously for the most popular X-Men series that we had had.
Right.
So my highest number, I then bumped that up a little bit when I should have almost doubled that number.
Right.
For #1. And then #2, we were able to get a little bit more before the cutoff, but it was only 2 or 3 copies, and the same with #3 because they just had sold so quickly.
Yeah.
So it made everything really complicated and not fun at all for anyone.
Yeah, the reason we bring it up and go so long into that is I think now when you see issues 4 through 6, I think you're going to see supply stabilize as shops know how to deal with it. But yeah, these first 3 issues of both series are going to be the types of things that you definitely either have to pull or you have to be at your comic book retailer early, or they might not have it. And like I said, my favorite cover this week isn't the primary cover,
pretty.
It's this cool Psylocke variant.
Well, and I love all of her swords and how the different angles, it gives a lot of dynamic feel to all of the different versions that you're looking at, because they're doing these kind of showcase covers. I'm really excited for the Rogue one. I think that's going to be in #4 of House, if I remember correctly. Can't remember exactly off the top of my head. But they're really neat because a lot of them are very dynamic to that character. So I like how severe it is, because Psylocke's normally doesn't mean business type of person.
Yeah, and the great thing is the series really is rewriting what X-Men is going to be going forward. So you definitely want to check it out. It's been a hot series, and deservedly so. Speaking of hot series, I think a few weeks ago, or last month, when Absolute Carnage #1 came out, that won New Comic Book Day.
There
Got high
were
ups for this one too.
so many of these. There's also going to be a lot of branch off series. You have Miles that's going to be coming out, and Lethal Protector, as well as some crossover happening with Venom. Carnage is like coming in a big way, and it sold really well for the first one. I think we got the third printing in today, if I remember correctly. So it's definitely seems like it's doing super well, and a lot of the covers are really pretty. Like this is just the main cover, but I thought it was still pretty snazzy.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. You know, we just came off of War of the Realms before this Carnage stuff hit, but yeah, I mean, they've really just made everything interesting. The extra pages and some of the issues with the Carnage cover. So I think it's just been really cool, and the story was incredible for #1. So I'm sure #2 is going to be good. Now we have this Middleton cover, this variant cover here for Batgirl #38. I think is one of the cool covers of this week.
It's super pretty.
So this is on that heavy cardstock from DC Comics. They have a few of these now. I think when they ran this out in the beginning, they're pretty much every variant cover that week had it. And it seems like it's sort of trickling down a little bit, but this is really pretty. And there's also a really great Jenny Frison cover for Wonder Woman 77 this week.
Oh, yeah.
Which people want to definitely keep an eye on.
Yeah, that one looks really gorgeous, too. Then I am a super big fan of this Friendly Spider-Man, if only because her eyes have like this cool glowing effect that you kind of feel like the light is like right off to the side, which I think is super neat. Plus, it's just super pretty in general. Mary Jane's apparently donning the colors. But yeah, no, it looks really awesome. I haven't been caught up with Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man for a minute, but I am kind of curious now. So this might be one of the things I pick up.
Yeah, my favorite Spider-Man is living in not a very good neighborhood Spider-Man. It's probably my favorite one. Or Peter Bag's Megalomaniacal Spider-Man. That was a good one-shot. Here's Batman Curse of the White Knight, Book 2, which comes in the white variant, or the white main cover and a black variant. This was kind of a really neat series. I like this a little more than I like the Batman Who Laughs or the Batman Last Night on Earth. I think it's a mature story. It's part of the DC Black Label, and then that's something that's coming out this week.
Well, like even the back of that book is super pretty. It's not like the traditional like back page being a marketing tool. Like it's actually cohesive to the book, and there's like almost texturing to it that is so neat in my opinion.
Right. Yeah, it's really cool. And then here's Batman Superman, which came in 2 covers this week. This has the first appearance of the Dark Multiverse Shazam. Mm-hmm. So it's a cameo at the end of the story, but that might be a character that they could do some really cool exploration with.
Oh yeah, especially because Shazam did so well in theaters. That was a more light-hearted version, but you never know. Dark things are always fun. And speaking of dark things, we have a Swamp Thing in House of Secrets doing his swampy things. But yeah, this is going to be on one of the facsimile reprints, so it's going to have all the advertisements in it, all of that happy-go-luckiness, all of the modern printing awesomeness. So if you can't afford the original book, then you can have a fun version that is not quite as pricey.
Yeah, the original books in CGC 9.6, 9.8 have been going bananas.
Oh yeah,
like $5,000, $6,000, $8,000 at auction. So this is definitely $3.99. It's a great piece of comic history you can have for the price of a regular comic.
Plus, you can have this lovely advertisement about airplanes who can coexist with our little robot friend who made an appearance.
Right. That was when Hot Wheels was doing airplanes. I don't think I ever got one of those.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Bone Parish ends this month. This is issue number 12. This has been optioned, maybe a television show. Bone Parish is one of those titles that is pretty well done. It's the Colin Bunn story. It takes place in New Orleans. It deals with a drug that is created from the bones of the deceased that allow the user to experience that last moments or the moments of that person's life. One of the cool things about it, if you're on the speculating side, is the quality of Boom's comics are always really high end, but the sales numbers, according to Comicron for this series, are only in the 5,000–6,000 range, and so each issue is going to be kind of scarce. If it does become a popular TV show, this is not going to be a series that's going to be plentifully available in back issue at comic book retailers. So I think this is to me, it's just a sleeper title.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
And also I like Jeff Lemire's Ascender. This is issue number 5, has beautiful watercolor art by Dustin Nguyen. And of course this tells a great story, has a great young female protagonist. This is a comic that I think appeals to people of all ages, actually.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And that's always nice when you can have something that's a little bit more universal. So I have Marvel Comics number 1000. We're not quite sure how they got to 1000, but this is what we got. I'm personally a fan of the She-Hulk cover because one, she's very 80s-tastic in this, and two, she's She-Hulk. Not Sea-Hulk, that is a different comic. But yeah, there is like a bajillion people working on this. There's a whole bunch of covers. It's going to be like a specialty thing, and apparently it's supposed to condense 80 years of Marvel into one book. So not quite sure how that's going to transpire, but that is going to be what this is.
Right. So do you guys have any back issues of like Marvel Comics 999 or? Yeah, we racked our brains to think about how they come up with the number 1000, because if you think about it, you know, you take the Spider-Man's like almost 1000, then you have X-Men, and then you have
he hit 800 last year.
You know, so I have no idea how they did that. But if you look at the issue, basically reads like an oversized, like a I don't know, almost like a carnival show of Marvel history, one page per character, and look out for the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar Jessica Jones story. Really digs deep into that character.
In one page.
One page, 50 words.
That's okay.
Yeah, but there are some interesting things. They just had the D23 convention where Marvel apparently released about 30 copies of a special printing of that.
Oh wow!
So that's going to go bananas.
Yeah.
You may find some interesting variant covers at your local retailer, and you know, be on the lookout for the mouse that roared. All right, so one of my favorite new DC characters has been Naomi. I think Brian Michael Bendis hit a home run with that character in a 6-issue miniseries that came out earlier in the year. She makes her first appearance in Action Comics this week, and a cameo appearance in this Action Comics 1014, which has two covers, has this cover and the Daily Planet cover.
Yeah, but that cover is so cool. I love what they're doing right now with DC and the logos having that kind of special thing that's corresponding with the covers, which is super neat, and they're still legible.
Right.
It's a big thing when they ever kind of mess with stuff. A lot of times it's like a contrasting color. This I do like because it kind of flows in with everything, but it's still readable. Sometimes when they do the full art pages and like the titles at the very bottom, I have a lot of people who get confused,
right.
Especially if you have crossover characters popping up in books. So like when they do something like this, it's like you almost feel like it's the variant, but it's the main cover.
Yeah, so if you haven't read the story, Naomi finds out that she's a superhero in some respects because Superman crashed into her small town.
Oh.
Now she's coming back to Superman and she needs some help. If you've read the first 6 issues of Naomi, you'll know what's going on, but it's nice to see it crossing over to the bigger
Oh yeah, no,
DC
especially because
universe.
it was such a neat book. We actually had a regular customer who her daughter, who was named Naomi, looked like the spitting image of her, and she bought multiple copies of each copy so they could give it to family friends, which is always super neat when you can have something like that happen.
And she bought the first 2 issues. She did pretty well.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
So, another important issue this week, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from IDW, number 97. This is the first appearance of the new female turtle with her weapons and her yellow mask. This is, of course, Jenica, so now it's 5 turtles. That'll probably be like starring in this comic. This series has gone crazy since the storyline started, and so it's exciting to see. The variant cover actually has her on the cover with her mask on, her yellow mask.
Yeah, no, I was talking about earlier how they actually had a character, I believe her name was Venus, who had a blue mask, and she was like an evil Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle that was like created by the Foot in the live-action TV series, because, you know, that was a thing. And so, like, originally when people were talking about, it's a new female turtle, it's like, they brought Venus into the comic book? And it's like, oh, no, this is a completely different character. Okay, makes more sense. Now I'm on the same page.
Right. I wonder if Venus ever found love.
You know, the problem is I watched that TV series when I was slightly shorter than I am now, and I don't exactly have the best memory, but I do think she had like a romance arc with Leonardo, but I'm not 100% sure. But I think that was a thing. That could have also just been when I was a child, I wanted the 2 blue turtles. I don't even know if that was what it was, but I just assumed that was the direction they were going.
So you guys had a little bit of a controversy with Diamond. They shipped out Supergirl and this Superman title number 14, and they recalled them. So what was going on in the issue?
So what was happening is that what was going on, they had like this little aside thing basically saying what was supposed to happen in the issue, but unfortunately it hadn't gone the exact timeline they were expecting, so it wasn't happening in that issue. And that is why DC freaked out, because a lot of people were comparing it to way back when, where it's like, oh, this thing that is on the cover doesn't actually happen inside the book. And so then they basically were like, yep, no, they need to be all destroyed, and so that's what happened.
So they had the Year of the Villain stuff on it, too.
Yeah, it has the Year of the Villain stuff, but it was like, best part, it was almost like the page was like torn type thing, and like one of the characters was popping out and it was saying like, see what happens in Supergirl, blah, 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 when the something, something, something does something. I can't remember the exact details because I was very angry.
Right. So what happened to that? Did you guys have to destroy them or did you send them back?
Yeah, we had to destroy them. We had to sign like, I'm not going to go like super big details, but it was enough that like there was legal discourse, like legal action that could be taken if we didn't destroy them. So yeah, that was fun.
Well, somebody who wasn't you landed me a couple copies.
Yeah. We try to be as ethical as possible here, especially if like angry, powerful companies that like sell the majority of our product, we don't want them angry at us. So
I'm kind of ticked off though because I didn't get that Supergirl the bus cover, which is what I should have, because that was kind of cool. And apparently they're not using that cover for the.
Yeah, it's super weird. Like apparently the issue was only on the main cover, from what I could surmise. Now this being said, Diamond put all this stuff in a really weird place on their website. Like it wasn't even like on the main discourse page for retail sellers. So I'm not the best source because it was a lot of stuff that I was like, huh, that's weird. Okay. And like call the rep. Oh, so we really have to destroy them. All right.
Right. Well, anyway, good luck finding those. Recall comics tend to do pretty well in the aftermarket.
Yeah, well, and I mean, you had a couple of Marvel ones that are pretty wonky. You had Return of Wolverine, where it had Dr. Aphra make a wonderful appearance in a couple of pages. That was fun and interesting. And then in Marvel Risings, I don't remember what the issue was with that, but that also had some stuff going on with one of the Squirrel Girl, Ms. Marvel. I don't know if it was Squirrel Girl and Ms. Marvel or Ms. Marvel and Squirrel Girl, because, you know, those are two separate things.
Actually, I think Wolverine in the Star Wars universe would be kind of interesting.
If you're expecting it, but if you're just reading the book and all of a sudden 2 pages of a character you don't even know is like there, and then it goes back to the story you're reading, it gets a little confusing.
What did I ever tell you about that time I went to go see that M. Night Shyamalan movie Signs, and then they played the last reel of it like in the middle of the movie? And then we went to go complain because, you know, the whole deal with that is like the twisty twist ending.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, you saw the whole movie, didn't you?
Jeez. Oh, that stinks. That movie freaked me out when I was 14 and saw it. Like, I did not like those aliens. I was not a pleased person.
It's probably his last, like, good movie, maybe. I don't know, he made a few after that. But that was the beginning of the end of that phase.
Well, I feel like the problem is that so much of his shtick became you're expecting the twist, that it no longer had the impact that it would have. That's, I think, a big chunk of it. And he felt like he was required to do that. And so then you're pigeonholing your creativity.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I never saw The Last Airbender, did you? That was terrible.
That movie doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about.
All right, so what else are you reading this week?
All right, so I'm so excited about this cover. It's monsters. Marvel monsters, to be exact, but they look like kaiju, and it makes me really excited. Yeah, no, I watched a lot of black and white Godzilla movies when I was more shorter than I was watching when I was watching Ninja Turtles. There was a lot of my grandparents were big fans of them, and so a lot of them. Some of them are very entertaining and interesting, and there's other ones that like, especially the ones that were in Japanese, because I mean I'm like 6 years old and I don't know Japanese and I can barely read, so I don't know what's going on. But Godzilla's there, and that's cool. So this is a really neat one because it's a cool little throwback reference.
Did you get that? Did you read that Konnichiwa Kaiju-chan comic that came out last week?
I don't think I did.
It's great.
Oh, it was?
It was great.
Sweet.
It's completely under the radar for me, but it was really good.
Oh, that's super awesome.
What else you got?
Tommy Gun Wizards. I know nothing. I really hope there's magic bullets because otherwise I'm going to be really sad. But it seems like a weird combination of things. We were flipping through it earlier, and like how the art is, it kind of looks like it has some sort of somatic type feel to it, because like they're using different colors for the magic that are going to be contrasting to what's going on in the book. It looks very noir-esque, which makes sense if you're doing wizards that are mafia, apparently. So that looks pretty cool. And then the last one I have is a Venom variant that I thought was super sweet. They're doing like the bad guys variants for Marvel right now. There was a Black Cat one that I really liked a couple weeks ago. I thought it was really pretty. But it's a neat cover. It looks cool. Venom's been pretty consistent, honestly, sale-wise. And then you have Carnage, who's popping up as he's popping up periodically because he's just causing all kinds of havoc.
And we got number ones. I mean, I don't even know if we have every number one that came out this week. Look at this.
We tried.
So we got Poe Dameron.
Yes, he's a Star Wars character.
General Hux.
General Hux.
Right. And the variant.
Yeah, General Hux again.
Yes. And then there's Spider-Man Velocity.
Power Pack, Grown Up. Mountain Head, which just sounds like a very interesting title.
Yeah, so this is a mountain climber who survives and runs into father and son, and it's violent. That's all I know about it.
So what, it's a mountain climber who's a serial killer?
Well, he's got like his crowbar.
I mean, or is it the kid, like the dad gets killed and
there's
so then...
there's the mountain.
Oh, there's the mountain.
Yeah.
All right.
And here's small number one from Vault. You know, I've seen this comic in some comic book retailers around, not very many, but I wonder if Diamond jumped the gun and shipped some of this early, because Key Collector Comics app claims that this is a hot key comic for the week, but I swear to God I've seen it.
I mean, you very well might have. I mean, stuff happens. Like, Diamond's controlling how many copies a week, or books a week. Goon #5 came out before #4.
Right.
You have all kinds of mishaps. We were talking about the misprinting of stuff. Things happen when you have, like, 100+ titles all the time. I can see where, like, mishaps can occur.
Right. There's a Antarctic Press Exciting Comics #1. A very big title there.
DuckTales.
Disney DuckTales. I'm surprised. I was expecting coins. Scrooge McDuck, Lucky Dime.
Oh, cool.
All right. You got Dr. Mirage here.
It looks really neat. I have don't know how the character's gonna play out, but it's a Valiant character, which I normally have a tendency of liking Valiant.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This is the Chosen Ones.
Yep.
#1. Barack in Black. All right, here's Absolute Carnage, Lethal Protectors, #1. Miles Morales.
Carnage. That's going to be the variant for Miles Morales Carnage, which is really
cool,
intense
young
looking.
guns.
Oh, look, and you have my happy friend, too.
Pulled it out.
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, that does it for that. We got the thank yous. On the Comic Week Facebook side, my friend Mike Markowitz, who's a ancient coin expert.
Oh, cool.
I like the video. We got Marco Loza, Chris Baxter, Mike Welch, Daniel Daughtry, George McClurg, Matt Adcock. We got Scott Coffey, Brian Leonard, Dennis Level, Scott Pawliczyk, who also commented on our YouTube page. Thank you, Scott. Mason Radcliffe, and giveaway winner, William Shane Blaylock.
Oh,
also
cool.
liked it, so thank you.
And then on the Alpha side of things, we have Pat Quinn, David Scott Lane, Dwayne, and I'm going to mispronounce your last name, and I apologize.
Cabanis.
Cabanis?
I think so.
Chris Berry, Joe Green, excuse me, and Will Breinstein. So thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And again, thank you for liking and commenting on the video on our YouTube channel. Like I said, we are very tantalizingly close to that 150 number, but we would like to see this grow. It helps expose more people to our videos. It helps bring more people into the shop to help the Alpha Comics crew. And also, widens the conversation about what's coming out this week in comics. So for Bree and for everybody at Alpha Comics and for everybody at Comic Week, I'd like to thank you for watching, and we'll see you next week. Happy reading.
Thank you.
The best I can do on this budget.
You're totally fine. I don't think any of us are judging you.